For the next 7 days, I'm doing what I'm calling a media fast. Basically, I'm depriving myself of any and all content consumption. Here are the rules. Number 1, no social media, obviously. Number 2, no watching videos of any kind, including YouTube, TV shows, movies, etc. Number 3, oh my God, no podcasts or audiobooks. This one is gonna be hard for me because I love me some audio content. Number 4, no reading of any kind. Books, articles, magazines, etc. Basically, any content that somebody else created is off limits, except for music. Music is okay. That includes Google. I can't Google anything because search results lead to content. I'm starting today on Wednesday, June 12th, and I'm going until next Wednesday, June 19th. I only decided to do this whole thing a few hours ago, so while it would be nice and neat to start it fresh in the morning, I am going to be chaotic and start it now in the afternoon. And then it's gonna finish next Wednesday in the afternoon. In addition to the aforementioned rules, I am imposing some extra restrictions for tomorrow and Friday, the first 2 full days of the media fast. These are the extra restrictions. No screens. That's right. Tomorrow and Friday are going to be screen-free days, except to check emails once per day in case of any emergency client requests. I am a freelancer, so I can't leave people hanging. Also, it's okay for me to use my phone to communicate with people via text or call, but I will try to limit that. What am I going to be doing instead? I'm glad you asked. I made a list. Declutter the closet, organize the office, draw, garden, clean the bathroom. These are all things I can do if I get bored. So I'm all set. I'm ready to go. The media fast starts now. Okay, hello. So I think I'm gonna spend today cleaning. I might declutter my closet, and my dresser also needs to be decluttered. Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know, man, to get to the other side. No, to lay it on the line. Too many socks. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a little bit bored. It's barely 12:30 and I am already feeling bored. I don't want to clean my closet anymore. But I also don't have much else to do. I just want to get on my computer or get on my phone and watch some videos or something. I'm feeling that urge to pick up my phone and go on YouTube. It's interesting that hit me so quick. Just walking around doing things in my house, I'm always listening to a podcast or an audiobook or something. Especially since I'm decluttering my closet. This would be the perfect time to have some kind of audiobook to listen to, but I can't do that. So I'm just listening to silence, and it's pretty boring. I'm getting a little bit of a headache, so I want to go for a walk. I'm drinking some electrolytes because I still have a little bit of a headache, and sometimes electrolytes helps with headaches. I don't want to do this anymore. My head hurts. Cleaning your closet and dresser is not fun if you can't listen to podcasts and audiobooks while you're doing it. I don't know why my head hurts so bad today. I think I'm having withdrawals from my screens. 2 giant bags of donations. Okay, it's the end of Thursday. Just wanted to do a little check-in. It's pretty hard. It's harder than I thought it would be. I've had a headache all day, which I'm seriously thinking might be withdrawals from my screen addiction. As I was eating, I noticed this card game we have that was off to the side on the table. It's called Set, and you can play it solitaire style. So I was playing that as I was eating. Just gave me something to do. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel rushed to do anything. Kind of just don't know what to do, which is so weird. I always have something to do. I always have 10 things to do. I really don't know what I'm gonna do the rest of the night. It's 6 o'clock. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. It's been tough. It's been tough, and my head hurts, and I just want to lay down for the rest of the night until my head stops hurting. Okay, hey, it's Friday. It's a new day. Let me take a seat here. This has been harder than I thought it would be. Yesterday was also really rough because I had a really bad headache and it made me not want to do anything. I normally would like listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I laid if I'm feeling like sick or my head hurts, but I couldn't do that yesterday. So I was just kind of alone with my thoughts, and my thoughts are a lot sometimes. It was also really hard to sleep last night. I've had some issues with sleep in the past, issues falling asleep and staying asleep, and it used to be really bad. It would happen every single night. I would have trouble falling asleep. It's gotten a lot better, but every once in a while I still have issues falling asleep because my thoughts just won't stop. And last night was one of those nights. Normally when that happens, I would just read my Kindle or listen to a podcast to help me fall asleep. But last night I couldn't do either of those. So I only got a few hours of sleep last night. Today I am going to go for a walk with my friend Paula. Before I started this whole media fast, I thought that not having any content to consume would just make me feel so creative and like stuff would just start flowing out of me. I thought I would be writing and painting and drawing and doing all kinds of stuff. But I just have like no motivation to do anything. It's just been very boring. Podcasts and audiobooks kind of just make everything more enjoyable for me. And now that I can't listen to anything, it kind of just makes me not want to do anything. I think I'm gonna finish what I started in the office. I started to take all of the junk that had been accumulating and I just put it in a big pile in the middle of my floor. I've become inspired to make some art. My friend Sarah sent me this stamped print that she made. She also stamped this really cool little duck on the envelope, and it's so cute. And she stamped out my name and address. I think I want to make just a little collage. I might just like paste these in here and then paint around them with some ink or something. I finished painting. I think I'm gonna work out now. Here's the thing though. Normally I work out to a video that I watch on YouTube, like a workout video, and I can't do that today. So I'm gonna have to like make up my own workout. Here's his home. Chris surprised me by coming home early from work. We ended up going to the grocery store and buying a bunch of junk and had ourselves a little feast for dinner. And then we just played games and hung out the rest of the night. Saturday started with Chris and I in the garden. We've had these 3 rotting stumps where my future flower bed is gonna go. We've been talking about removing these stumps since we moved in, and we finally borrowed a pickaxe from my dad and got to work removing the stumps from the garden. You got it. So after we took the stumps out, we got cleaned up and went to babysit for the rest of the night. It was a long babysitting shift. Got back home pretty late. Went straight to bed. And then Sunday morning, I visited with my friend Sarah. It was also Father's Day yesterday. And I promised I would bring over some ceviche to my parents' house because everybody loves ceviche. I didn't film at my parents' house, but I spent most of the day there. And then I went over to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house for a little game night. So that was an entire weekend full of social events. Today is Monday. This media fast is more than halfway over. I just have today, tomorrow, and half of Wednesday left. This week I can use screens, so I am going to spend some time today working on some client projects, and then I want to work on restoring an old laptop that I have that I want to give to my mom. I actually didn't tell you this earlier, but I spent the morning crying, and I think it's because of this media fast. Let me tell you a little story. When I was at my parents' house yesterday, I was going through some old photos with my mom, and something reminded her of this poem that a friend wrote for her when she was young. My mom got in a pretty bad accident when she was 17, and she was almost paralyzed for the rest of her life. I always knew this, but I never really knew the details about it until recently. I've started asking her more questions about it. Right after the accident, when everyone still thought she wasn't going to be able to walk again, her best friend wrote her a poem, and while I was visiting her yesterday, she showed it to me. The original poem, handwritten by her friend almost 50 years ago. She still has it, and she said she still reads it sometimes and remembers the accident. She handed it to me and I read it, and it made me tear up, but I held it together because I didn't want to start bawling at my parents' house. But I wanted to remember the poem, so this morning I was writing about it in my journal. As I was recalling the details of it, I just broke down and started crying. I started off the day with a good cry sesh. As I was writing about it, I realized that technically I had broken my media fast to read this poem. As per the rules of the agreement that I made with myself, I cannot read any content that somebody else created. And this was a poem that someone else wrote. I didn't even think about it at the time. Of course, I wasn't gonna say, no, I can't read this. I just kind of realized that the one piece of content that I broke my media fast for ended up evoking so much emotion in me. And I wonder if it's because I hadn't been consuming other content. I didn't have any extra noise and information in my head. Maybe being in this state of emptiness gave me more room to be able to receive the poem and my mom's story and to connect with it and feel the emotional impact in a way that I wouldn't have normally felt. So yeah, that's an interesting side effect of this media fast. It seems like I am connecting with things, with stories on a deeper level. Hey, this is me post media fast. I am editing the video right now and I wanted to give you a little update. After filming that last scene, I asked my mom if I could include the poem in the video, and she wanted to get permission from her friend that had originally written the poem. Makes sense. She hadn't talked to her in a long time and she didn't have her contact info, but she was able to track her down and they had a nice long phone call catching up, and she gave her permission to allow me to include the poem in the video. So I'm going to read the poem to you right now and show it on screen. This is the original poem, and let me just read it out loud to you. I have it here on my phone. Upon a rock away from home, a young girl sat all alone. The water from a shiny lake was playing happily for her sake. The loons along the bay were very happy in their play. The raccoon washed his claws so clean. The young girl sighed at the scene. You see, she was a lonely one who wouldn't join the games and fun. She sat and thought, it's making me tear up. She sat and thought of days of yore, before an accident years before. Night came stealing over the lake. The breeze was gentle for her sake. The night owl sighed a mournful tone as they came and wheeled her home. So yeah, that's the poem. I should say that my mom is able to walk. They performed some surgery on her that was kind of new and cutting edge at the time, and they weren't sure if it was going to work, but thankfully it did work, and she has lived an amazing life since then. That's her story. I was sitting here eating and thinking about some things that I wanted to share with you. My instinct when I eat is to grab a video or a podcast or something to entertain me. So I'm doing a lot of just quiet eating. It kind of ties into this mindfulness class that I'm taking right now. In the first module, we practiced mindful eating. You slow down when you're eating and you just pay closer attention to your meal. It's a challenge, but I feel like I appreciate the food more, and I get a more full experience when I'm eating the food consciously versus just watching TV and like shoveling food into my mouth, not really paying attention to what I'm eating. This whole week, and with the mindfulness class that I'm taking as well, it's kind of like just teaching me how to be more present in this moment and pay more attention to what I'm consuming, whether it's content or food. As I was organizing my room and decluttering the closet, I kind of like was looking around my room and just realizing how much I didn't like the way it looked. My first instinct is to go online and look for inspiration, for bedroom decoration inspiration, and I can't do that right now. But I thought maybe I could just go to a home goods store and just kind of peruse, see if I can get any inspiration that way. I just saw a wholesome little exchange. There was an old man pushing a cart full of stuff up a hill. He was going very slowly, seemed to be struggling a bit, and there were some construction workers working nearby, and one of the construction workers came over and just started pulling his cart up the hill for him, just helped him out. That was so nice. He didn't need to do that. He was working. So sweet. The kindness of others has a ripple effect. I really want to get back into painting, and my mom just gave me a gift card to Michael's, the art supply store. So I think I'm gonna go there and maybe get some more paints. Michael's didn't really have what I wanted. It's 3 o'clock now, so I'm gonna go back home, see where the rest of the day takes me. I have been working on my computer all day, and suddenly it's 2:45 p.m. and it's done. It's done. The fast is over. It's now Wednesday afternoon, and I started last Wednesday afternoon. I want to reflect on my experience a little bit to end this video. It wasn't so bad after the first couple of days. The first couple of days were my self-imposed screen-free days, which are not entirely necessary for a media fast. You could still use your phone and your laptop to do other things without consuming content. However, I think that I did get a lot out of the screen-free days. I think it was sufficiently disruptive to my everyday routine that it kind of took me out of the habits that I had ingrained into me of like opening up my phone whenever I wanted to be entertained. I was surprisingly emotional during certain parts of this past week. Things seem to have had a more meaningful impact on me. Going on this media fast, I kind of like cleared away all the information and all the chatter, and that made room for more emotional stuff to have a deeper impact in me than it would before. I was more deeply engaged not only with the emotional stuff that came up, but with everything. When I'm not constantly distracted by content, I can pay more attention to the sensory details of the present moment, like the tastes and the smells and the sounds, and I think that makes the present moment a more interesting place to be. Sensory details are the creative juice that all art is made from. When you take away screens and stop consuming content, you'll start wanting to create things. And I think this goes for everyone. Even if you don't consider yourself a creative person, I truly believe that all humans are creative. Even if your art form isn't visual, maybe you'd prefer to write or cook, make music, or build something. I think we are inherently creative, imaginative, and inventive creatures, and I think that's what sets us apart from other animals. But when we're stuck in this loop of content consumption, there's no room to create. We spend our free time consuming content, and then that makes us not feel creative, and it's just like a vicious cycle. I feel like humanity could truly benefit from consuming a little bit less content. There are some things that I want to continue doing going forward. For one, not checking my email constantly throughout the day would be a good idea. Email is a huge distraction for me. I didn't really realize it, but I'm constantly checking my email, constantly being distracted by reading newsletters and clicking on links. It takes me out of what I'm currently working on and is a huge distraction, and it's not necessary. Another thing is I do want to start having more screen-free days. I think maybe once a month would be good. I realize how much I rely on Google throughout the day. I tend to go down the Google rabbit hole and I waste so much time, and it's not necessary. In the moment, it's like, oh, I gotta know this right now, you know? So just kind of like stopping and asking myself, like, do I really need to know this? And if so, maybe I'll write it down and look it up later. I don't really want to stop doing what I'm doing right now to look this up. It's not that content consumption is bad. I guess being more intentional about how I consume content is the goal here. I think that's it. I encourage you to try doing something similar to this. Maybe make your own rules if you want. Adjust it to your schedule. I got asked several times this week, like, why are you doing this? And because I like to challenge myself every once in a while. I think it's good to try and do hard things. It trains you to be more resilient. It's good to challenge yourself every once in a while. So I encourage you to try it out. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this, and if you would ever try it, and how many days you think you can go without consuming content. That's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.